Hello everyone, it's Oliver Harper here and welcome back to a new LaserDisc update video. I've not done one of these videos for about 6 months, but I've added some new titles to my LaserDisc collection. I do have a few coming from Japan over the next coming weeks, which I'll put in another video next month. But let's kick it off with the first LaserDisc, and it is An American Tail. Now, I saw this as a kid, absolutely loved it. It always made me cry at the end when you hear his dad to shout, "Five-0!" and he finds him eventually, because obviously he gets separated from his family and has to find his way around New York and makes friends with a big fat cat. But yeah, all these mice are scared of cats, because there's no cats in America, as the song is, but they're all completely wrong because they're idiots. Yeah, this is a second edition of American Tail on LaserDisc. The first one made use of the fantastic theatrical poster, and this is kind of a remaster, still in pan and scan though, with a digital PCM surround track. Comes with no trailers, comes with no chapter stops, but does have a great picture. I was really impressed with this, really nice. This is from, I think it's like 91 or 19, yeah, it's 1991. Fantastic score, obviously by James Horner, great animation and direction by Don Bluth. Yeah, it's a great movie. I've always had a massive soft spot for this, and I should review it at some point because I've not covered enough animation. I get pestered all the time to review animated movies on my retrospective channel, and I need to sort of, listen to some of my audience and go, okay, I'll cover some animation. And probably American Tail. I think there was a Blu-ray release, isn't there? But yeah, I was really impressed with this transfer. So yeah, and it wasn't too expensive. I think most people don't really give a toss about this film, but they should, because it's a nice movie. And some cheesy songs that still kind of stand up, and it hits the right emotional edge with the score, because it always makes me blub a little bit near the end. Next up we have Commando in widescreen. Not a very common disc. It's from 1996. I do have a pan and scan version, which I'll probably give away to one of my friends. Production notes on the back. No theatrical trailer, which is a shame. Comes with original Dolby Stereo mix. Also got remastered over the coming years to 5.1, maybe DTS perhaps. But it's nice to have the original sound mix on this, and it's in great condition as well. I didn't pay too much for this, so I was quite happy about that. Still got the original kind of plastic sleeve on it as well, so it's been looked after by the previous owner. But yeah, very nice to have, nice transfer, worth getting hold of if you can find it for a decent price. Keeping the theme on Arnold, we have Conan the Barbarian. Now this is a widescreen version, the only widescreen version of Conan on LaserDisc. There is Japanese releases which do have great covers, but unfortunately they are pan and scan. This retains the original mono mix, because famously Dino De Laurentiis didn't want to spend the money to get a Dolby Stereo track in 1982. Most movies around that time, big year of cinema, so many classics out that year. All of them had Dolby Stereo tracks, and Conan unfortunately didn't. But it's nice to have the original sound mix with this. It's got chapter stops, got theatrical trailer at the end, which is quite novelty for 1991, I believe, for Universal. It did get released on DVD. The first edition on DVD of Conan did have the mono track, but then they put out the 5.1 mixes. And often the case with those, you lose a lot of the dynamic range. And I don't think they included the original mono mix on those releases. So it's just good to have the original sound intact, despite it being mono. But I was really impressed with the transfer on this. I was just like, wow, this is incredible. Really good detail to it, and no laser rot. Nice and clean disc, and worth getting hold of if you can find it for a decent price. Now this title I got from Japan, but it's actually a US release, and it's Die Hard, the THX widescreen version with Dolby Digital sound. Now this version is slightly more difficult to get hold of. It's not particularly common. Die Hard 3, which I do own, is very easy to find. It's super cheap. You can find it on eBay, nice and quick. But this one, less so. Some people do sell this as part of a collection, like Die Hard 1, 2, and 3. There is DTS versions of this, which are super pricey and quite tough to find. This is in mint condition. I paid like 380 yen. Nice gatefold sleeve with production notes. Comes with trailers for Die Hard 2 and 3, I think. No, just Die Hard 1 and 2. The sound on this is fantastic because it's derived from, I believe, the 6-track 70mm presentation. But the picture I was not impressed with. Very soft, not particularly sharp. Colours are kind of okay, but for a THX certified disc from 1995, I was less than impressed, because I just previously, I just previewed Conan the Barbarian. When I kind of got the titles and I was checking them through on my player, Conan looked great. This didn't. Some may disagree with me who own this in their collection, but yeah, not impressed. I was lucky I only paid, you know, a small amount of money for it, but yeah, bit gutted with that. So I might have to check out the previous releases, but judging by, you know, the softness of the picture, I don't think it will look any better on the previous versions. I may be wrong. But yeah, if you find this cheap, you know, if you'd like the sound mix on this, then get it, but I'd probably stick to the DVD or Blu-ray. Oh, I think there's a 4K, isn't there? So yeah, I've got the 4K. It's like a novelty thing, really, but just to retain the original audio. Because it also has a Dolby stereo mix on the PCM tracks, if you don't have a Dolby digital sort of playback. So yeah, a bit disappointed, but sound-wise, it's great. Up next, we have a Criterion Collection release, and it's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Now, I got this pretty cheap. It was on eBay for like £5. You had to bid, obviously, and ended about 12 quid. So someone tried to outbid me, bastards, but I won it. So yeah, it's a bit scuffed though. I was expecting it to be in better condition for what was shown in the photos. Obviously, with Criterion, you get loads of special features. It includes a documentary that's on the Sony release, which has a kind of a red kind of banner at the top there. This is like a shorter version of it, but it includes different special features, audio commentary, you know, interactive hands-on editing workshop. I presume you can basically program in to edit a scene how you'd like to, and then sort of still frame pictures. You can skip, you know, go through them, storyboards and special effects and analysis, and an audio commentary, of course, which I may have mentioned or not, can't remember now. But I've not had a chance to check out the picture on this, so I can't comment as of yet. But it does have a wonderful sort of gatefold sleeve, which is very similar to the Highlander and Highlander 2 ones, where kind of they obviously double gatefold. So you've got chapter stops, you've got, you know, Dracula covering his face, then it opens up to that. Incredible stuff, right? So this is obviously the beauty of LaserDisc, and obviously vinyl as well when they do these kind of special editions. I'll cut to some stills where you can kind of see the full detail of this up you know, in close up. But yeah, so I'm happy I have this, but I was expecting a better condition. But for the price I paid, like 12 quid for a Criterion release of Dracula, I can't really complain. Up next is another Arnold title, and it is The Terminator, the THX version. Mint condition. It says the original mono track presented, so everyone loves the mono track to The Terminator, because the remix one kind of changed some of the sound effects and the sort of style of the music, not the style of it, but how it was mixed and the volume of it and so forth. So this retains the original audio. Comes with obviously production notes on the back, and you've got the theatrical trailer. Now this version, my friend Nick, Ravens Film, he did an analysis on all the home video releases of the Terminator, and obviously he commented on this one where you kind of see the teal kind of effect coming into play back when they did this in like 93, 94, something like that, maybe a little bit later than that. But yeah, so you know, the teal is a bit more excessive in the, you know, obvious in the DVD and the Blu-ray that came out from MGM. But this, you know, this is the best presentation of the film at the time on the format. There is other versions of the Terminator on LaserDisc, which kind of a warmer colour. There's a great Japanese release which has kind of this kind of image, but with like the vision of the Terminator with the sort of the targeting red frame and the sort of code and stuff. It's a great cover, but the picture-wise, it's not as good as this. There is a THX version equivalent of this in Japan, which has a kind of black image with the Terminator poster centered in the middle, which used to be quite common. I saw it a bunch of times. I thought, should I get that? Now it's really hard to get hold of, and if I try to bid on one of them, I always get outbid. So I thought, I'll just grab this, which I used to have back in the day, and I sold it for a pretty penny, and I got this back for a kind of a reasonable price. It wasn't super cheap, it wasn't super expensive. But yeah, great condition, and great movie, as we all know. And it's great to have the mono track back intact on this. Okay, coming up next is a common rotter, one to avoid on the format, but if you can find a Pioneer pressing, you're in for a good time, and it is The Fifth Element, which is, yeah, Sony put it out on LaserDisc, super rotter, and most people complained. There are a few people out there probably have a Sony version, and it's fine, but it's a Pioneer pressing, which is super clean. I had to check with the seller, because I said that if you could check the mint marks on the disc, it will tell you which manufacturing plant it came from. This comes with obviously production notes, Dolby Digital 5.1, no extra features, just side 3 in CAV, so you can pause it and go frame by frame for all the action scenes. Really good transfer on this. Very much like Sony's version of Starship Troopers they put out on the format. Great picture. Just a shame that the pressing plants they used were terrible. You know, luckily they did a split production on this. On this, there's a sticker saying available for sale in North America only. So there was talk about Sony sort of cancelling this release or delaying it because I think either the film was still shown theatrically in other countries, and you know, to not affect the box office, they were going to delay it, but they didn't. So yeah, so it's trying to stop piracy basically, but they still put it out. So if you can find this clean, you know, from a Pioneer pressing, it's worth getting hold of for your collection, and most of them are pretty cheap. Someone could be selling this for like £3, and if you check out the mint markings, it's Pioneer. You're sorted, and it apparently has a better picture than the Japanese one. So Sony's, you know, super HD, whatever it is, mastering process they used on this release. Often has in the corner, what was it? I can barely read that. Better picture quality, new digital master. I don't know. It's the same sort of logo they used on Starship Troopers. But yeah, get it if you can find it cheap and if it's Pioneer. Up next is one of my favourite movies as a kid, and I still love it to this day. It's probably one of the top 10 comic book movies, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The US release comes with a crappy cover, which is typical of Image Entertainment. Also, you've got a LaserDisc kind of design with the VHS cover slapped in the middle. It comes with chapter stops, no extra features, no trailer or anything like that. Pan and scan, not widescreen. I do have a widescreen version of Ninja Turtles. It came out in Japan and it's called Hero Turtles, like in the UK. But weirdly in the UK, when the movie came out, it was still called Ninja Turtles. Unfortunately, the Japanese one, even though it is in widescreen, the picture transfer is rubbish. So I wouldn't bother spending money on that. This has a lovely picture, great pan and scan, great audio, great original Dolby Stereo mix. I love this movie. Steve Barron did a wonderful job. You know, great Jim Henson animatronics, great score by John Dupree. I just love the look of it, you know. And some of the critics today, when they talk about the Turtle films, they always kind of poo-poo this. I'm like, you fucking idiots. You know, it's a great film. Obviously, you know, it's nostalgic for me because it's the first film I saw in the cinema. So with my dad, who hated the movie, but I absolutely loved it. Next up is The Hunt for Red October. This is the widescreen edition, the first version they put out on the format, I believe. Comes with no chapter stops, bizarrely, especially for a release on the early 90s. Does have a wonderful gatefold release. See there, look at that, lovely jubbly. I got this for a couple of pounds, very common on the format. There is a AC3 Dolby Digital release that was put out in the later part of the 90s. That's a little bit more difficult to track down. I saw a guy talking about this on YouTube, and he said the picture was very good, and I agree with him. I tried it out. I was like, wow, this is really nice. So I need to probably sit through this movie. It's a lot of people sort of misled by this with the trailers and stuff. It's very action-packed. It's very much a talky film. I saw a bit of it on a plane once, and because I was just like trying to find something to watch, and I was just like, oh, it's a bit too boring for me. But I need to give it another go because I do know it's a good movie. Directed by John McTiernan after Die Hard. Great cast in this, and you know, Sean Connery. Everyone loves Sean Connery. So yeah, I need to check this out properly and give it a go, and hopefully maybe review it in future. Up next is another Sean Connery movie, and it is Outland. Fantastic science fiction film from 1981, directed by Peter Hyams, who directed Capricorn 1, Time Cop, Sudden Death. It's the widescreen edition from 1991, this is. Chapter stops, no theatrical trailer. I got this for about £4 or £5, and it's mint condition. But unfortunately, the picture transfer is not great. I was very disappointed by it. Very soft in areas, a bit muddy, and the print seems a bit scuffed in, like visible dirt and odd scratch here and there. But some moments it does look very nice. It's also nice to have this retained original PCM Dolby Stereo mix with a Jerry Goldsmith score, which is very unique and weird, but great to listen to. But I'll obviously probably recommend getting hold of the Blu-ray because it's in widescreen, you know, better presentation, and it comes with an audio commentary as well. So it's kind of bare bones, but yeah, great cover, great movie. Just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate the picture transfer is a bit meh. Okay, up next we have the first movie to be released in DTS and the first DTS LaserDisc ever put out, and it is, of course, Jurassic Park. I used to have this years ago. I sold it for quite a bit of money, then I bought it back for cheap from Japan, weirdly. This often sells a bit more in the UK. Got it for like, I think it was like just under 1,000 yen, about 900 yen. Which is equivalent of, say, I don't know, maybe about £8 or £9. Every time I see Jurassic Park being sold on LaserDisc in the DTS format, the sleeves are always damaged and, you know, scuffed here and stuff and split seams here. I think it's a title that obviously got, you know, used a lot back in the day with most collectors of the LaserDisc format. It comes with a gatefold sleeve, which is obviously very common design. It's the same sleeve they used on their other releases of Jurassic Park. Nothing unique here other than the fact that it's got DTS, a bit of information there about the format. Really good sound mix on this. As you can imagine, this was the, you know, blew everyone away when it came out in the cinemas with its DTS track, which, if you don't know, I mean, Dolby Digital was kind of read off the print itself as like a little design. You can see how it reads it. This is very similar, where it's kind of like a barcoded, but it's read off a CD, so you get no compression really with the way they put Dolby Digital onto film. This is kind of all read from a CD. Which I never used DTS when I was a projectionist, because Cineworld just didn't bother. You know, if they took over a cinema and had that you know system in place, I'd use it. But when Cineworld built new cinemas, they never took advantage of DTS. Because I think down to the fact that the CDs got scuffed and scratched in transit and so forth. Really impressive sound on this, and the picture's very nice still. A little bit soft in areas, but yeah, it's always kind of wowed people with the sound. I know there's some debate about has the sound been changed slightly for LaserDisc with the subwoofer and maybe some of the rears, but I mean, I can't tell the difference. I mean, if you had a 35mm print with the DTS track, you know, you can hear it, and you maybe had to spot a difference, but I'm sure it sounds pretty good anyway. So without those kind of maybe slight adjustments, but I wasn't really impressed with Jurassic Park on 4K because of DTS X track, which kind of messed around with the sound levels and the sound effects weirdly. I just didn't like it, so I want to sort of get back the original sound, you know, on this format. And finally, we have the theatrical cut and Japanese release of Aliens in Dolby Digital sound. I do have the OB sleeve, it's over there somewhere. But yeah, mint condition, got this for like 800 yen. Because I saw a video, someone had talked about this version, how good the picture was. Because it's a later release. I own Aliens, you know, on 2 box sets. Actually, 3 box sets. One's a trilogy box set, and 2 of them are, you know, special editions, but one from Japan and one from the USA, and they're both the extended cuts, and this is the theatrical one, and obviously remastered with a new sound mix. I think maybe derived from the 70mm 6-track audio from '86, and it sounds amazing, and the picture is fantastic. So yeah, the guy wasn't wrong about the picture quality. It's a gatefold release, great cover to this, black and white imagery within the gatefold. I think the US cover sleeve is actually better, but it's a bit more pricey. Aliens in Dolby Digital is on the US LaserDisc. It's a Japanese one, so it's a lot more cheaper. I'm just after it now, Alien 3 with this sort of cover with the Dolby Digital kind of sound. You can get this as part of a box set, so Alien 1, 2 and 3, all with this kind of white design, or with kind of remastered sound. But I couldn't get the box set because I bought Alien separately and I bought this separately. There's no point buying that box set, you know, because I've end up getting more of the same titles, so just need to wait till someone in Japan lists Alien 3 separately. I'm like, that's mine. But yeah, very happy with that, and I didn't pay too much for it. Well everyone, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As mentioned earlier, I will have another update video in the coming weeks, but if you have any questions on the LaserDisc format or the titles I've shown you, please leave a comment below and I'll get back to you ASAP. Okay everyone, take care of yourselves and goodbye for now.
If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and click the bell to be notified of my latest retrospectives and reviews. Big thanks to my patrons for supporting the channel. If you want to get involved and gain early access to my content and exclusive videos, then follow the link below.